Disafterdark is a member of the Mice Chat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The views spoken are ours and ours alone, not those of any other bugger. If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show. How mellow is this?
It's very mellow.
It is, isn't it? This isn't even me playing this as like I was trying the last week.
It's not me playing it either.
It's at this point when we walk out to the adoring crowd and say, calm down, thank you. Yes, that was good friend of the show, Tom Amin, who'll be back on in a few weeks' time with his rendition of our new theme tune that isn't the same as anywhere else's with a pub-related theme you may have heard or seen.
It sounds nothing like EastEnders. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Welcome to Disafterdark, Series 3, Episode 2, properly?
2.0.
Yeah, that'll do. I'm Paul.
I'm Nick.
I'm Paul.
I'm Craig.
And we're trying something completely different tonight. We're trying a phone-in show. And we wonder if anyone's actually going to phone us. I don't know.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Exactly. Anyway,
I'm on the edge of the bed, but that's because of the room I've got left.
Gentlemen, what are you drinking?
I thought I'd go quite mellow tonight, so I've gone for a nice Disaronno and Pepsi Max. So cheers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Craig, what are you drinking?
I'm driving a train early in the morning, so I'm drinking tap water.
I heard a rumour that you've given up drinking.
No.
wasn't a rumour, it was a vicious lie.
Damn lie.
Yeah. Mr. D.
I am on a Mexican theme, so Mexican Pavilion Epcot. I'm drinking a Desperado.
Good choice.
Tequila.
Nice.
And because it's a call-in phone, Stephen.
I'm on orange and lemonade.
Hey!
We have a phone-in guest.
Yeah, but can I just point out, you've already ruined it by calling it a calling phone.
We've got a Scottish phone-in guest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Oh, I know.
Thought he was Welsh.
Welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you.
It's at least someone was paying attention to the tweets that Craig puts out for us.
Hey, Stephen's been around for a very long time
He has.
with us.
I drifted away for a while, but I'm back on now.
Well, you're welcome to hang around for as long as possible. But we've barely started and we haven't even rambled away from how do people contact the show?
You can phone us.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, Stephen's figured out a good way of contacting the show. But for people listening to this on delay, or as a podcast as it's supposed to be, you can visit our website at www.disafterdark.com, or they can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
And they can find us on Twitter at Disafterdark, Facebook.com/Disafterdark, and MiceChat.com.
And Craig, you can do the rest.
We're on Pinterest, aren't we?
Yeah, somewhere.
Pigeons. And we've got everything else. Bebo, YouTube.
And for shows like this, occasionally on Skype under Speak to Diz After Dark.
Yes.
Now I've figured out how it works. Oh,
I mean, saying that, I mean, if you feel free. If you just want to call it up when it doesn't look like we're online, do that as well.
yeah,
You never know, you might catch one of us.
Indeed. Stephen,
Yes.
the whole idea of coming on a phone-in was to do one of two things. You can either tell us about yourself and your last Disney trip, or you can ask us a question about Disney stuff. What do you want to hear on our podcast?
No, I think
Better
the
hosts.
They're allowed.
I think the podcast is really good. I mean, it covers everything, and it's not too formal. You know, it's straight down the line. You just speak as you feel, and just give your opinion. I know.
That's what we like to create, that impression. It's hours and hours of rehearsal goes into this.
Yeah, if you replace the word rehearsal with drinking.
That's
Oh,
the
damn, I
one.
always get them mixed up.
Oh dear. Oh, which one's your favourite resort then?
Well, the resort I go to is Port Orleans Riverside. Been there twice, 2010, 2012, and I'd love to get back again, but I can't see us getting back again for the future. But I love it there. It's just so relaxed, and you know exactly where you are, and even the hotel or the rooms are so close to the food court, or the ones that we get anyway, are so close to the food court, and the transportation to the parks is great as well. So I've not got any issues with that. I'd love to get back there again. As I say, maybe a couple of years before we get back.
I think we know that feeling now.
Yeah.
Some of us more than others, guys. Remember 2010, right? Thanks. But did you have a particular question that you wanted to ask us, or a few?
Not really. I mean, I just saw obviously coming online. I thought I'd just join in. I mean, I know quite a lot about Disney. I follow not just yourself, but the guru that's Ricky. And so
just bear in mind, you are not at any point allowed to say other podcasts do exist.
No. See, other people can.
Oh, okay.
I'm banned from using that catchphrase. You can't ban guests from using that catchphrase.
I don't know. It shows you how long I've been listening to you.
Actually, Mr. Briganti is the reason why we've delayed the show by a day.
Yeah.
Because we were having a guest on who he was visiting instead. Yeah. So we moved our schedule, and we'll have Tom on next week, next show.
Yeah. So basically, we got dumped.
Yeah, we got dumped.
For Ricky.
To be honest, I dumped you, not for Ricky and all.
I dumped you for Ricky as well, to be honest.
Yeah. So now that we've established we don't dump each other for Ricky.
Yeah.
Just upstaged.
Yeah.
And as long as we don't use the word dump too often around Craig, he'll turn it into some sort of Instagram photo.
Who else would you dump? Would you dump everyone for Lou? Would you go for Lou?
He looks too happy, that bloke, doesn't he?
I think
he's shorter in real life than he looks on a podcast.
Tiny, isn't he? You've met him, didn't you?
Yeah.
I've got him in my pocket here.
Oh, hang on a second. You meant Lou, and he's not invited us onto his show or come onto ours? What's going on?
No, he would quite happily, quite honestly, from the look on his face, never heard of us.
But we are Britain's 7th best Disney podcast on downloads.
Yeah, I know.
Shocking behaviour.
He obviously only listens to the top 6 out of the UK.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
So
big Disney Brit
fan. He only goes for a short list.
Joke of the series so far.
Somebody snort beer.
He's doing sterling work in Game of Thrones, isn't he?
That is marvellous.
Hang on a second. So, can anyone establish what rides he can go on?
Not many.
No, sounds like it.
Small whale.
Favourite place.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, your first trip you said there was 2010.
No, first trip was 92. I mean,
whoa, hang on.
I mean, it's been ongoing for quite a while. It's just our last trip was 2012. And 2010 was the first time we went to Riverside, but we went back in 2012. But it was 1992. I went with my 2 pals. It was my first sort of breakaway holiday for the parents. And I was, 22, and my pal was 21, so it was just over the legal drinking age. So
I feel so happy now knowing I'm not the only person in the world who, at the age of 20-something, went on a lad's holiday and chose to go to Disney World rather than Ibiza.
That was our first one. It was great, and we loved it. And really, it's just stemmed from there. And I don't even know why we actually went there first.
What goes on tour stays on tour. All lads together.
I mean, the one I remember, or one memory I have there is CJ's, which was down just past Wet and Wild, which at that point it was $2 to the pound, and they were selling 25-cent beer and dollar shots. So you're talking 12.5 pence for a beer and 25 pence for a shot, or sorry, 50 pence for a shot. So we sort of rolled out of there. I sort of went home rather drunk, and my other two pals stayed out, and I had the key. So, of course, I crashed out. They couldn't get into the room. I had to get the security guard, and they were scared out of their wits because this security guard was wandering about with this big magnum. And it's just it's like, I'll get you in.
When you say he was walking around with a big magnum, do you mean a gun, an ice cream, or a Tom Selleck
White chocolate
character?
or dark?
Probably a machine gun, the way they were talking about it.
That's a fantastic.
But that was great, and I rolled home that night. And but for beer for 25 cents or 25 pence, you're going, just fill me up, you know. And there was these scantily clad women wandering about, you know, just serving you, which really didn't. It wasn't the worst of days, put it that way.
Yeah, it doesn't encourage you to leave the bar, does it?
No.
Good advertising. Let's be honest.
You like some food? No, thank you.
I'll just keep the beer coming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, from you going, you know, for quite a few years now, you've obviously seen a lot of changes. We've talked quite recently about things like Fast Pass Plus and My Magic Band. I mean, they're not the only changes over that kind of period, but what would you say are the good and bad changes that you've witnessed over your time?
The Fast Pass is probably the best thing they ever did. I mean, I remember going to Universal at one point. I know, obviously, it's the Universal Express there, but I stood 2 hours in a queue for Kong, and it was the middle of the summer, and it was absolutely roasting. And don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic ride, but, you know, 2 hours to go on a ride, you're thinking to yourself, well, how many other things can you do? But at that point, there was no such thing as a Fast Pass. You know, you just had to queue up, and you were there at 9 o'clock in the morning. It finished at 11 o'clock at night, and okay, you did everything, but you only did everything once. But the Fast Pass is the best thing that I think's come out, and probably the dining as well. I mean, we've done the dining twice at Disney, and especially for the Brits, especially before they changed the amount of snacks and stuff like that you've got. There's no way you could eat as much as you could, you know, they were dishing out to you. And okay, you're paying top dollar for the room, but that's it. You know, once you get there, it's like an all-inclusive holiday. You know, it's just all you can.
You got a favourite restaurant, Stephen?
Sorry?
You got a favourite restaurant, a favourite Disney restaurant, or a favourite Orlando restaurant?
We've been to Le Cellier. I quite like it there, and we've also been to the Mexican Pavilion. But probably the best meal I had was in Le Cellier. It was gorgeous, and it was a great setting as well. It was just me and my wife that went there, and it was just so romantic. And it was about 9 o'clock at night, so illuminations was going off in the background. So it wasn't the most quietest of the restaurants at that point, but the food in it is just amazing. It really is.
Very nice.
I actually had a reservation for the Cellier, and I didn't chicken out of it, but we'd had such a good meal. I can't remember where it was. It must have been California Grill we'd just gone to like a few days before. And we thought, I don't think it's going to compete with that. So we cancelled our reservation. And kind of wish I hadn't now, because I've heard many a good thing about that place.
Someone who has joined us in the past but couldn't join us tonight, Ian Shaw, because he's given his name away. But he's asked us, what one thing should Disney improve to get ahead of its competitors?
Put a Doctor Who ride in. or a TARDIS toilet.
They had a lot of Doctor Who merchandise in Universal this year.
Universal?
Yeah. It was actually in the Shrek 4D shop.
Yeah, of course, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and don't ask me why, but they had a whole section on Doctor Who, T-shirts, all different merchandise, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Universal were actually behind the Doctor Who TV movie. Remember the Paul McGann one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it aired on Fox in America, but I'm pretty sure Universal were involved, like, you know, NBC, were involved with the production of it.
I didn't really see that, but I saw the whole load of Doctor Who stuff they've got, obviously, in the UK Epcot Pavilion.
Well, everyone knows that everyone in the UK
Got the
watches
phone
Doctor
boxes.
Who and drinks cheap beer and eats crappy fish and chips.
Twinings tea.
If and Twinings tea, if you believe the Epcot Pavilion, of course.
And Walker's shortbread.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that it's probably seen as like a delicacy because it's at the English Pavilion when you get it for free at any travel lodge you stay at.
Yeah.
The least gourmet biscuit you can have. It's got a fancy package.
Follow like this, because Nicky Walker used to be a Rangers goalkeeper, and he's part of the Walker's family that did all the shortbread, and he chose to be a goalkeeper rather than go into the family business. I think he's now reverted back to that after, retiring, but that's probably his claim to fame.
Yeah, he should have stuck to biscuits rather than playing for Rangers.
He probably made some good money, I'm sure.
For American listeners, a goalkeeper is someone who stands at the back and attempts to stop our forwards from scoring touchdowns.
You only had to say something about soccer, they'd have got it. One thing Disney should improve to get ahead of its competitors. I personally think the only thing that Disney could possibly do now to get ahead of its competition is actually have a kick up the arse. How long has it taken to get Avatar Land moving?
That's what I was going to say. It's speed.
Yeah.
That's what they need the speed of Universal.
Yeah, yeah. Not the need for speed. They don't need a ride based on that. What they need to do is just hurry up.
Yeah.
Because Universal knocking out a ride every year now, or like a new attraction every year for the next 5 years.
That. Yeah.
And Avatar Land stalling. New Fantasyland was heavily delayed. Disneyland Paris has obviously got its own problems. It just all seems to be a bit of a mess. I think my concern with Disney at the moment, unfortunately, is the fact that because it seems to rest on its laurels a lot more than places like Universal, is that people are going there still because it's Disney. But eventually they're going to get bored because it's not turning over as much as it should be. It's not doing things as quickly as it should be. And I said in the last show about how I feel about Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
And so, and about maybe not going back for a year and a half, 2 years, just to let it grow a bit more, because there's nothing to keep me going there at the moment. Not a lot, nothing's changing, and it's like all the parks really.
We felt that between 2010 and 2012, there wasn't enough of a change for us to keep going back. So this is another reason why we're maybe holding back a couple of years to go, because obviously Avatar is going to come out and Universal are promising one big ride per year or big attraction per year. So by the time we get back, there will be plenty more to do. I mean, we've not done Legoland or anything like that. There's a lot of things we've still not done, especially staying on site, not having the need for the car and obviously keeping you on site. So it restricts you what you're doing. We did go to Universal for 2 days and stayed at Hard Rock, but in that, it still restricts you in relation to you're at Disney. But again, they've got to do things. They've got to actually push it forward. Get Avatar Land done. Get everything done.
Thinking of speed, how long has Pandora been on the cards, and how long was New Fantasyland on the cards before they actually opened it?
Well, I can tell you this much, Paul.
From design work and...
Oh, hello.
Anyway.
Has Doc got a question?
Yeah, Doc Brown's just phoned in.
Well, I can tell you how long Avatar Land's been going on, Paul, because I think we discussed it on, I don't know, show 3 or 4.
Yeah.
When we first started this show. So that was 2011, I think.
Yeah.
So, that's how long, and they've barely broken ground.
It barely broken ground talking about it then, and here we are, 3 and a bit, 4 years later nearly, and we've started on, we're nearly building it, and they've cordoned off the area. And yet, only this week they've announced, 7 more hotels in the next 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. Which I just...
They can put 7 hotels up in 5 years, but can't finish one land of attractions.
But
plus all the DVCs.
Yeah, probably would be as well.
It's a hell of a lot of money on hotels and DVCs in downtown Disney or Disney Springs.
But Steve, the thing is, Stephen's right. I mean, the first time I ever went was 2007. We went back for a honeymoon in 2010. Within that time, Harry Potter, the first phase of Harry Potter had opened up. Aquatica had opened up. That was a new park that had just been finished by the time we got out there. There was some changes at Disney, which I can't remember. How embarrassing. But Toy Story Mania, that was probably the big one at that time. But within that 3-year gap, a lot of things changed in Orlando enough to... we would have gone back anyway, but to really make it worth your while. At the moment, there's not that. We would be going back now because we miss going to Disney World because we haven't been for a few years. But if you actually looked at the reasons why, there's just not enough.
I don't know. I mean, because I've been there about 9 times over since '92. And it's not the fact that the new things are there. It's the fact the old things are there that you remember. And it's walking down Main Street, it's walking towards Spaceship Earth, it's going round, World Showcase. Things like that really bring it all back. So, yeah, there's not a lot of things been built and there's not a lot of things that are new. But a lot of people don't, well, especially like myself, they don't care. It's being in Disney. It's the whole Disney atmosphere. It's a Disney effect that takes over you rather than actually just going for a new ride.
No, I think you're right. It is an experience.
Nostalgia plays a big part as well, doesn't it, with Disney?
Yeah.
You do go back and you don't want things to change as well. So you'd want change, but you don't want change as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, have you got a favourite extinct attraction then?
Definitely not Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I went on that in '92, and it's probably the worst ride I've been on. And to have all these folk come out and say, "Oh, I remember that. Oh, it was fantastic." No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Isn't that what people are doing now with Maelstrom?
Yeah.
No, sorry. Is that a can of worms I just opened and threw on the floor?
It may be, but we've had another guest ringing in as
Woohoo.
well.
Guten Abend, fellas.
Hello, Lee.
Is he in a submarine?
A U-boat.
I think you'll find he's taking the mickey out of our sound quality.
No, it was the closest I could get to Norwegian.
Did I tell you about the Norwegian because I can speak Norwegian?
Go on then.
Tårlig åndelig flå. That's the Norwegian way to pronounce Tore Andre Flo, who was quite a popular Chelsea player.
And an Indian player.
Your top.
Yeah. And also Tusen tak. That's all the Norwegian I learned.
Well,
I was there for about 3 weeks.
Don't say we don't educate people on this podcast.
Exactly.
The nights must fly by.
I'll tell you now, my pronunciation is spot on. I always ask my cousin when I speak to him.
I'll say pronunciation, not pronunciation.
I'm fluent. I can speak German. These papers are not in order. Show me your papers, you pig dog.
And
Sounds like a Swedish chef.
I was going to say there goes our German listenership, but I was...
there goes our German listener.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever... I don't think we've ever made it big over there, to be fair. The humour just doesn't translate. Anyway, Lee, lovely to have you on. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good, thank you.
Lee,
How are you,
Stephen.
guys?
Lee. Stephen, have you ever listened to Lee's podcast? Don't worry if you haven't, it's not great.
No, I know Lee quite well. I've emailed into Tracy and we've had a scavenger hunt going round Universal. So yeah, I'm quite affair with Lee and Tracy and Hunter.
Tracy's fine. Hunter's not bad either. Lee, meh. But at the same time, he's phoned in, so thank you.
You will.
Did you have a particular question for us, or did you just want us to plug your podcast for you?
Oh no, I would never do anything so disgusting as looking for cheap plugs at all.
We're not cheap.
Both plugs maybe, but not cheap plugs.
Rigg's extremely cheap from what I've heard and had experience of, to be quite honest.
We'll leave that there. But so actually, funny enough, we were just before you come on. I was kind of singing the praises a bit of Universal, rightly or wrongly. And Stephen was telling us as well about how much he loved confrontation, especially waiting for it as well.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
It's going to be very interesting when it opens, from what we've heard. I am keeping my fingers crossed that it will be open for when we're over there next year, but I can't see it, to be honest.
You're talking about the new Kong ride, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the original one.
I've never been up.
Aye. It's like 92, you know, you were doing like confrontation, you were doing Ghostbusters, you know, Earthquake, all these different ones, Jaws, wherever that went.
We did the Star Trek video in 93.
Yeah, well, we've got that in 92 as well. Oh, no, 94, we've got it.
Ours is the same, but it was in my garage when someone broke in and stole a whole load of videos.
Especially that one.
You know what they were hoping for when they stole them, don't you?
Yeah. It's the sort of thing that will come off my iCloud account nowadays, if that was the case.
You do realise that, you know, if you didn't stick a label on there, it's like Big Booty Girls 5, it would never have got stolen. Some poor sods watched that video going, "Oh, I'm in for a right night." And he sees Boniface on a Star Trek set.
Anything to stop someone from actually wanting to watch me in a Star Trek. Yeah, it was a bunch of us. How many of you did it when you did it?
There was the whole family did it. I was Spock. What are you laughing at?
When Craig means the whole family, he means the whole Liverpool family. It was like the entire of Toxteth.
We'll be up that motorway in a minute, lad. I'll get a bus together.
Just drive a train up there.
How old were the girls when they did
calm down.
This is what happens when you get Northerners drinking.
It's like Brookside versus Viking Grove.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Why, man, you wee canny bastard. I'm blind, Spugger. I'm blind.
In fact,
if we could get Adam on here, we could have Brookside and Biker Grove and Crossroads.
In my defence, I don't live that close to Newcastle, by the way.
Oh, come on, Leicester's near Birmingham.
You and I will cover to the high road. You've got EastEnders.
Oh man, Mrs. Womack.
Who's that?
Is that the high road? Come on, Craig.
Oh, I was too young.
Did you not watch 2:30 in the afternoon soap operas on ITV? About
I was in Borstal.
Great Scottish towns.
Oh, was anyone watching the BBC drama Our Girl?
No.
The other night.
No.
Quite interesting.
Our Girl or Our Girl?
Our Girl, because it's got Lacey Turner and she plays a Londoner. But there was a character in there, and I'm going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. But spoiler alert. There's a character in there that died in the 6-yard box at West Ham at Upton Park. And all I could think of was West Ham strikers. But you're doing quite well, aren't you?
I was just going to say, yeah, don't all West Ham players go to die in the box.
I can't say.
Tony Cotty.
I don't know, because at the moment I'm pretty sure West Ham are above Liverpool.
I don't take the mickey after.
Yeah, I think at the moment they're doing. But I was going to bring it up, Craig, because I did see on Saturday that you said you're going to do it again. But you're going to win the league this time. And I was thinking, yeah, once you get past West Ham, then you can start thinking about it. And the reason I'm being this cocky, for our American listeners, I support West Ham United, and we're crap normally. But at the moment, the table in the Football League seems to have been turned upside down, and for some reason we're near the top of it.
You will still go down, you know that.
West Ham are getting nosebleeds at the moment because we're not used to being that high.
Wait till Andy Carroll comes back from injury and you'll nosedive. Don't worry about it.
He'll be coming back from injury and going straight into Riyadh, that lad. Don't worry about it. Anyway, this is a Disney podcast.
For a Disney podcast, at least I'm a Brighton fan, so things are going according to plan this season.
You've got a good goalkeeper, though, Paul. I'll give you that.
Stockdale.
Yes, thank you. Made his name at Darlington.
You can have him back.
He's brilliant.
I'll take this offline.
Has he been drinking? Has Malaby been drinking?
Anyway, the question was, and this is a good one from Lee actually. What should Disney do to improve to get ahead of its competitors?
Close Animal Kingdom.
No.
So I want the Universal's take on what Disney can do to improve.
Right, I'll tell you what it is, because obviously we've been covering Universal quite a lot more. We went out with a very different...
What, on your podcast?
On your Universal Beast podcast?
Ka-ching!
And what we found, the
Unofficial.
difference between the two last year was that Universal were doing everything that Disney made their name on doing. And Disney have gone more down what Universal used to do. So it's like the tides have turned a little bit. Disney need to go back to doing what they used to do.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain.
Customer service.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because Disney used to be the pinnacle of customer service, and the last time we were there in 2012, there was just no sparkle with a lot of people. Whereas in Universal, it was the total opposite. In Universal and Busch Gardens and all these other places, they used to just hire folk in just for the summer and just part-time jobs and say, it doesn't really matter. There you go. There's your job. Just get on with it. But it's turned so much in relation to the customer service that Universal provide now. It's way, way better than Disney ever has, especially over the last couple of years.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's it. Yeah.
People want to work at Universal now, whereas, like you say, it was just a case of anybody who wanted a job who couldn't get in at Disney, they'll go, oh, well, go down the road.
Yeah.
We know enough team members now, and they genuinely love the jobs. Whereas, I think the problem with Disney is they've spread themselves too thin as well. It's been brought up a few times that Universal are toying with the idea of opening a third park, and I think it would be a bad idea. I think that resort, as it is at the moment, is perfect. Not having been, but Paul, you'll probably understand it. How I look at it, how I look at Universal is how Disneyland is.
Yeah.
You've got downtown Disney, and then the two parks, so that everything's just compact.
Yeah.
Whereas Disney's just, it's for people who've probably never been before, going for their first time, looking at Disney World, I'm sure it's over. I mean, it was for us back then, but even more so now, I think it's got to be overwhelming for people. Whereas you go into Universal, you're parked in the parking lots, and everything's there. There's no travelling. It's just
there's a very long escalator.
No, I think you're right about overwhelming, actually. I mean, if you join any of the Facebook going to Orlando for a holiday groups, the amount of first-timers and newbies that under normal circumstances we would take the mickey out of for asking stupid questions, but there's a reason these questions are, do I have to start booking my fast passes? Do I have to start doing this? Should I have started doing that? Should I have clicked it? How far have I got to go? Do I need a car? It's question after question, and it's like, just go on holiday.
Yeah,
Paul,
you need
to
actually get through it.
Yeah, you do now, especially. I mean,
Fast Pass and the Magic Bands. I mean, that so many days out, you've got to book your first 3, and then you can start doing it in the park. I mean, come on, there was nothing wrong with the paper version. My wife's a hairdresser, and where she's getting ready to drop in second. In fact, I could be like leaving this podcast. And
the medical term there.
Ready to drop. That's the politically correct term. She had a client round a few months ago who was going. It was her first trip to Orlando, and she said that her husband had been before a long time ago when he was quite young. I think he was actually a kid still. But, fully confident they knew what they were going to be doing, and she wasn't worrying about anything and this, that, and the other. And I said to her, look, you're right to extent, but if you're staying on site, you're going to get these magic things, you're going to need to book things in advance, this, that, and the other. And she was completely blown away. She's like, I had no idea. I thought I could just turn up and go on things. And I said, look, it's that you can't do any of that. I said, but there will just be certain things you might struggle to get, onto if you haven't prepared in advance. And they were going to rely on shuttle buses. And I said, well, where else are you looking to go? And, they were going to all the usual places, Universal and SeaWorld and everything like that, without a car. And I said, if you're staying on property, it's not the easiest thing to do. So in the end, they decided to get a car. And we saw them, I saw her 2 weeks ago. And she said, if I hadn't spoken to you, it would have had a different holiday. Purely because had she not had that information before she went, I'm no mega expert, don't get me wrong, but just that little bit of knowledge that we were able to give her made sure she was able to do things she wouldn't have done had she not known in advance what to do.
Well, I think it's that thing when you say you haven't got, you're not an expert, but compared to someone who's never been, you realise how much you do actually know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, what I mean is, there are people that are probably professionals at this, like travel agents, but...
Yeah.
Although
I don't
not
think
always
travel agents know, though.
I don't think travel agents actually tell you a lot when you actually go in and book. They book your holiday and they say, oh, right, you have to do this, you have to do that. They don't go into it as much as you would imagine, especially for a first-timer.
Don't forget you need your Esther. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure when you do your Esther, fill in the right
that.
details or you end up like me, getting almost deposit every time you land in America. But yeah, it feels like with all these new things they've put into place, the magic bands and, eating on site and everything like this, that it's a very complicated holiday now where, it used to be simple. The first I went, 2007, there was no way about everything. We could just turn up, queue up for things, do what we need to do, get fast pass for certain things. Now, I'd be absolutely freaking out like Paul was a few weeks ago, not being able to get a meet and greet with Anna and Elsa if my daughter was obsessed with Frozen. Now, luckily at the moment, she's so young, the only thing she cares about is Olaf. So we're all right. But, I couldn't go on a holiday like that and her not meet them.
Or wait 6 hours in a line for it.
That's the only opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
And that's it. I mean, the thing is, you can be lucky like that. Of course you can be. I mean, Paul, you obviously told us how you lucked out meeting them yourself. But you do hear people
he slipped him a 20 for that.
Yeah, but then that's what tipping's for.
When he told that story, he didn't say that he slipped him. He took a 50 out of his wallet and just slipped it. So the kids walked away and he went, here you go, mate, just come running after us in 5 minutes.
To be honest, in that situation, I'd have slipped more than that.
Yeah, I put it down to an argument against the fact that there's still customer service at Disney, but it was only there because one of the rides had gone tech. So.
And also, you were wearing your Disafterdark t-shirts. That could have helped as well. Because, obviously, everyone listens to the show.
We had a fast pass for Anna and Elsa, and we just walked in, and within 5 minutes we'd met them. Don't know what all the fuss is about. It's called planning, people, with the capital P.
5-minute walk on for Ratatouille, so I can't really,
No, when Craig
Sometimes
goes
do
to
that
Disney World, it's like Gulliver going to Lilliput. He just steps over everybody. No one's going to stop him, are they?
That's it.
We have got a question, Lee, a Doctor Who related question.
I don't watch it.
Okay, but why are you selling merchandise in the Shrek shop? Doctor Who.
Hang on. Let's just clarify this for
In the
anyone
Shrek
listening.
shop?
Lee himself does not sell this merchandise.
Yeah, I don't sell merchandise, no.
No. I just want to clear that up for anyone listening for the first time.
You would expect it in the T2 shop, because that generally, they sell T2 stuff plus sort of any other pop culture stuff. But in the Shrek, to be honest, that thing needs to go anywhere, but that seems a bit weird.
The funny thing was, Lee, in the Shrek shop, they also had T2 merchandise.
Okay.
They had a whole sci-fi corner where they had Doctor Who and Terminator 2. You could buy the leather jacket from Terminator 2 and some other stuff, which I just thought was weird.
Yeah, that's a bit odd, especially when Universal seem to be going more down the route of merchandises in specific, like Disney used to be. Before they sort of came, you used to be able to go to Disney and you'd only be able to get specific merchandise from specific shops, whereas now it's just blanket across the park, and that seems to be more what Universal are doing. So that seems a bit weird.
Well, that was something interesting the other day. Because I don't know, Lee, if you read or you actually cared at all. But obviously, recently there was the kind of shareholders announcement where we're announcing lots of changes to do with the shares and the financing of the park and everything like that. And one of the things that came up was, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that's now taken over as the head of Disneyland Paris. I don't know his name because he doesn't listen to our show yet. Not like Philip Gass, so I don't know. But
I like that optimism. Yet.
Yeah, obviously he will do. But one of the things he wanted to kind of bring over with him was more merchandise that was kind of themed to specific rides and attractions and to be sold in certain areas. So at the moment, quite often when you go into a Disney, any shop on Main Street, you get to see a lot of things repeated over and over. And the idea being that that's going to be cut out. And that's how it used to be. I remember when it used to be like that.
Well, that's like one of the things that we noticed when we went over to Florida last year, the difference between Disney and Universal. Like when we first go, we'd keep daft souvenirs like the napkins from specific restaurants, and it's all blanket just Disney parks now. When you go to Universal, it's all the stuff in Springfield's labelled Springfield. You know, all the stuff in the Wizarding World is what it is. It's all themed to where it is like, and that's where I was sort of saying before that Universal are taking everything out of what the sort of Disney playbook and using it against them.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, you're right, and it's silly little souvenirs, but it's the little touches that make a big difference.
It doesn't, and like I don't know whether it does to the average guest who goes, but for like us, I mean, let's be honest, we're all geeks. For us geeks, it makes a big difference.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it comes down to the fact that there's less of us. Well, there are less of us. There's obviously less geeks, and there are people who often go to Disney for all kinds of reasons.
Well,
and
they say that, don't they? They reckon something like something ridiculous, like 75-80% of Walt Disney World visitors are first-time visitors.
Well, that's pretty impressive. It's a pretty high number.
Something like that. That's why they don't care about the repeat visitors. It's all about marketing everything towards the first-timers.
Yeah. Okay.
That does make sense. I mean, the thing is, everything will cost money. So, as Lee pointed out, with everything being unique at different parts of Universal, that's going to cost money because different people will print that or different things need to be bought. Whilst at Disney, they'll just buy 10 million napkins at a time that are all exactly the same.
It's like,
so
Paul,
it's going to come down to cost as well.
Yeah.
You've been out to Disneyland.
Yeah.
How different is Disneyland compared to Disney World when something like 70% of their visitors are locals?
It is a bit different, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot more like live entertainment.
Yeah, there seem to be. I don't know. There's almost a difference in the cast as well, much like that the Universal you were saying with the pride and the staff. There seems to be a lot of people who I work at Disneyland, whereas you work at Disneyland, and even if they work in California Adventure, they'll probably say I work at Disneyland, but I work in Disney World. Unless it's, I'm in the Magic Kingdom. Is it the same? Where are you? I'm at Hollywood Studios. I don't know. Has it got a ethos behind it?
A pecking order.
Yeah. But it seems. But you were saying that they don't seem to cater for the repeat visitors, but a lot of people, especially Brits, us lot who go out there, it's never just a single first-time visit. So what is it about it that, even without the repeat visit and the holiday of a lifetime, makes us keep going back?
Now, there's a question. Because, God, my bank balance would be so much better without it. Sorry. I'm just getting shouted. I'm getting too loud.
No, that's why I'm sitting out in the garden.
The beer garden.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's just it's the atmosphere. I mean, you sit down, middle of Main Street, and everything else passes you by, and you just look and say, I can't believe I'm here. And as I said, I've been there about 9 times, and every time you sit in front of the castle or sit down at the train station just where the flag is, and you look around and you go, this is amazing. And this is why you save up for like 2-3 years at a time to get back, and you bust a gut to get there. And as Lee said, it's not the cheapest of holidays, and everybody's bank balance would be a hell of a lot better if it wasn't there. But you keep getting back. And a lot of it is the same things that you do over and over again, but it's memories that are there, and it's fantastic. It's just, my wife said to me, it's the only place she actually sees me happy, And
I don't think she was proud of that. I think she's pretty sad about that.
I don't think that was one of my best moments. But I mean, I went away with the family, and they were tired, and this is right. Okay, I'm out of here. You know, so there was rope drop at Epcot at 8 o'clock. So I was there for 10 to 8. You know, got to rope drop and met them at 12 o'clock. You know, today I just slept. I don't sleep when I go to Disney. You know, I'm up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, go to the court, get coffees, bring it back, and I'm waiting for everybody to wake up just to get on and get in the bus.
Yeah, it's not even jet lag, it's just excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like from when we went last time, obviously through the podcast, a very different experience for now, because we've got genuine friends out there through doing like the podcast. Obviously Hunter and Darren and Gregory and Jesse and people who are part of the show, and then people we know out there, you know, team members who, you know, we talk to on Skype regularly. We have genuine friends, so we're going home to our second family when we go out. So it's weird. It's a completely different experience now.
I'm pretty damn sure, having seen his picture on Facebook, that I actually saw Hunter standing around outside the guest services entrance.
Oh, you can't miss him. He's a big lad.
Yeah, I think they were waiting to go in for the press evening for Halloween Horror Nights.
Hunter?
Oh, it might have been Darren.
Darren was there with Nina for the...
One of them was with his young lady.
Darren.
Hunter's got lovely little ears that you just want to nibble on.
Darren's quite tall with a...
Yeah.
Which one's got the beard? Because I get confused easily.
Both of them. Darren's got like a goatee-ish beard. Hunter's got a full beard.
Yeah.
I
just want to run your fingers through Hunter's beard. Yeah.
It was Halloween Horror Night at Labine. Darren, he went for the media night.
I was quite a way away, and I didn't want to just walk up to him and go, "Excuse me, do you know Leon Tracy?"
He knows who you are. You've been on our bloody show with him.
Yeah. The kids and the wife. Hello.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh dear. So cool. I don't know. What keeps you guys coming back to it? Other than the fact we do a podcast about it, it's kind of obvious.
I think Stephen summed it up pretty good. I mean, you know, if you go away on a holiday and you lie on a beach for 2 weeks, that's okay, that's good. But personally, I like to be doing stuff all the time. And when you go there, we were there for 17 nights this year, and at the end, we still hadn't done half the things we wanted to do. And I don't know anywhere else that you go that's like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
it's literally non-stop fun, really.
I haven't searched around iTunes for a Malaga-related podcast, but
Oh, you should. They're fun.
Yeah, there must be one or two.
But
Malaga
I mean,
After Dark, that really it already exists, I'm sure. It's a different thing entirely.
What he does. But no, I mean, kind of like going back to what Stephen said. The trip before last when I went to Disneyland Paris, because of having a 3-month-old daughter with us, we went on 2 attractions. But we knew that before we went there, and we still had a great time because it was all the things, it was all the theming, it was sitting in Main Street, it was watching the world go by. There's not many places, like you say, where you can go and have any kind of holiday you want. You can have the normal kind of traditional theme park holiday where you're at Disney or Universal or SeaWorld or whatever park it is, running around like headless chickens, trying to go on as many attractions as possible, having loads of fun. Or you can just sit and relax and watch the world go by. Because when you're at a park that's that well themed, you feel like you're there. You don't feel like you're in Paris. You don't feel like you're in Orlando. You feel like you're in Disney. It's its own little bubble.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. If I turned around to people and said, we went and, can you believe we was there for like 3 days and we only went on 2 rides? They think you're mad.
Oh, are the queues that long? Yes, they're 72-hour queues.
They are massive queues.
And the thing is,
we didn't need to.
Although we talk about Disney, I mean, for me, when we go to Orlando, we treat it like one big resort, really. So we'll have a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously we normally stay on site at Disney, so most of our time's there. But we'll throw in a few other things as well. We'll go to a beach, and it's just the whole experience. So I'm glad we do a Disney podcast, but I'm glad Universal's up in its game because that's good for everybody. You've said that
Absolutely.
before.
Yeah, it frustrates me because me and Craig have talked about it quite a bit. That people, when they say, they ask them when they're going to Florida on holiday, you'll say, "Oh, where are you going on holiday?" And they'll say, "Walt Disney World."
What a professional! What an absolute professional!
Not,
he is.
He is, isn't
not
he?
Orlando. It's frustrating as hell because it's like you're missing the point if that's all you're going there for.
No, you're right. And, I've got friends that will go to Disney World and they will only go to Disney World. They won't go to any other parks. So that's fine if they want to say that. But personally, I couldn't imagine going all that way. If you're flying 8.5, 9 hours somewhere, sometimes longer depending on where you're going from, I couldn't spend just 2 or 3 weeks just on Disney property as much as I love it, because I know what else is out there as well. It sounds like Doc Brown can't
someone's
do that
got
either.
a Back to the Future ringtone or a text
We've
message.
just gone back in time, haven't we?
Great Scott! I know when we went, I think it was in 2005, Tracy got talking to a woman on the plane when we were coming back, and I think it was a son, they were one of these weird couples. You see them on, they've got the Disney T-shirts on, and they just look like they never get out.
Hello, Tracy! Did she sound like that?
They literally never left Disney property other than driving from the airport to their hotel, and from their hotel to the airport. They spent every single extra magic hour in the parks.
Someone getting chased by a wild dog.
Must be you,
Not
is it,
tonight.
Craig? All the wild dogs out in Liverpool.
I don't know. I think we may have been joined for the last few minutes by a youngster.
Hey.
Wow.
There's a blast from the past. Hello, Josh.
Hello, folks. Yes, it's Joshua Gillespie.
They've let you out.
Yes.
No, they let him out. They've let him live in England for a while and pick up an English accent.
They've been
They must have learned
keeping me
it off
in
you,
the cage for the past few years.
I didn't know if that was...
electric fences today.
It's like Jurassic Park all over again. I wasn't sure if that was Josh or Dick Van Dyke at first.
Oh, blimey, Governor.
Let me get that for you, Mary Poppins.
Now I've completely lost track because I don't want to ruin the image.
Look
of this
what's happened. I come in and I ruin everything.
I've got a picture.
First
It's
time I've seen Josh.
in a straight jacket, and his dad's holding the phone up to his ear so he can talk.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights.
Craig, I don't mean to kind of rain your parade. You're right about Josh being in a straitjacket. That's not his dad holding his phone. That's actually Sid, his puppet. I've not seen his dad, so I don't know how alike they look. I'm guessing not very, because one's got a completely different skin colour.
But who's controlling the puppet? Oh my goodness.
Craig, we all know puppets are real.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? What the hell is a puppet?
Well,
I think that definitely wasn't Dick Van Dyke.
No. What the fuck is a Dick Van Dyke? It sounds like a terrible porn star name.
Well, I think we should get the label back up.
and Josh has been learning from the Craig Lucas School of Broadcasting.
Where did you put that beat?
Wait, am I allowed to say fuck on here?
No.
Or is that just bad?
No,
That's
bad.
cool. Crack on.
See, look, look at Malaby. Oh, look. Here's my stick. I'm just going to poke Josh with my stick.
No.
And if you
Yeah,
have to something
I
else
don't
when I
have to
say
sleep
stick,
now.
that's up to you. But that is not what I was insinuating at all.
Have you been on that funny juice?
Alcohol.
He's been on that blue milk again.
Anyway,
Yeah, blue milk, yeah.
For the last few moments of the podcast's remaining degrees of sanity, the question was, what can Disney do to up their game?
Employ
Not
job.
make everything frozen?
And there you have it.
I think that's the final word, Nick, to be honest. I think that's pretty much narrowed down the problem at the moment, is everything is frozen.
We're turning Journey into Frozen. We're going to have Captain EO Frozen. We're going to have the test track of Frozen.
But to be honest, I actually don't think any of those are bad suggestions.
I like that.
And this is it, our spaceship Frozen with me, Olaf. I'm just waiting for it. Epcot's going to become Frozen Land.
He's getting better.
Might be better than Judi Dench anyway.
Surely to do Judy Dench.
After Skyfall, there is no more Judi Dench.
Oh no!
So they're going to have to get Rafe Fiennes to do it. I'm all up for that. Anyone who can spell their name Ralph but call themselves Rafe is fine by me.
Yeah, that's not pretentious at all.
Yeah, at least it's not pretentious or anything.
No, really not pretentious.
By the way, Rafe, if you are listening, Hill would love to have you on for no reason whatsoever. You're probably not.
In fact, as he who shall not be named, you could come on either of our podcasts. It wouldn't matter.
But other Harry Potter stars are available.
Yeah.
And again, Lee can say that he's a guest. I can't say it. I'm a host. And of course,
So Rafe,
exactly.
that's your cue. Come on.
And if Rafe Fiennes is listening still, we'd rather have Tim Curry on.
Right.
So,
do you know Tim Curry? Yeah.
In fact, why isn't Tim Curry phoned in tonight? We're not allowed to approach him. He can approach us. That's the rules, right? That was what the court case said, wasn't it?
I did take it as a bad sign though when he did involve his lawyer.
Well, that's what I mean. But as I said, that meant that we couldn't contact him anymore, not the other way around.
Dear.
Anyway, that's enough Tim Curry talk for this show.
Yeah. And it's all starting to go the way of the mouse.
I think it's going the way of that Creepy Kingdom podcast we did recently.
No, we haven't had the sound bites yet.
That is true. We have got a
Now
dog
it's going
yapping.
to the dogs.
Okay, that makes sense. I knew it wasn't Flynn, so that confused me. But, well, thanks. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Especially the people that have actually called in.
Yeah. Stephen, Lee, Josh.
Very, very appreciated that you took the effort and time to call in. If anyone wants to
Josh, Dad.
Visit our website, they can visit us at www.disafterdark.com. It's a little bit like the inmates of Money Fire all of a sudden, isn't it, really? Or they can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com. If anyone's still listening to this, you don't need to phone the police. Everything is fine. Normal service will be resumed momentarily.
You can find us on Twitter at Disafterdark, and Facebook.com/Disafterdark, and on nightchat.com.
And also you can Skype phone in like these lovely three gentlemen have done tonight if you so wish in the future.
I've muted that one. What was that noise?
What the hell just happened? I felt
That
like
was
I was
me.
going through the Doctor Who intro.
It was me and my helicopter.
Oh, dear.
Is that the American Doctor Who intro? Sounds different to our one.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But on that note, thank you everyone for joining us. If you liked this, drop us a line, tell us you liked it, and we will do it again.
If you like this, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you like this, listen to other shows. You'll either like those more and realise how crappy this one was, or you'll go, actually, it's not that bad.
Find my episodes.
We love Cal's episodes. But no, Stephen, Lee, Josh, Sid, Tim Curry, Craig, thank you for joining us tonight.
Doc Brown.
Get Rafe.
Yeah.
Doc Brown,
Doc Brown.
Ray Fiennes, of course.
Thank you very much indeed.
Olaf the Snowman.
I'm going to hit this button now.
Old wheezing man. Thanks, old wheezing man.
That's not nice to say about Paul.
Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Dis After Dark, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Yeah, now so this end music
Not
now
nearly
sums up
anywhere
a lot
near the
more.
same as ours.
I knew I had to come in and fuck everything up. It's my job.
You're overqualified.
Get back in your box.
Yeah, and now I say something like, and we're out.